Before this story pulls you under, hit subscribe, tap like, and leave a comment, because once you step into this case, there's no turning back. Snow fell in thin, whispering sheets the night she vanished, blurring the edges of the world and swallowing sound. The highway cut through dark woods like a scar, empty except for one small sedan pulled awkwardly against the guardrail. Its hazard lights blinked, steady and patient, as if waiting for someone who never came back. Her name was Lena Parker, 21. A college student with a part-time job, a cluttered backpack, and a phone full of unanswered messages. Earlier that evening, she'd left campus after a long shift, telling a friend she just wanted to clear her head. She never made it home. At 9:37 p.m., a local driver called it in, a single-car accident on a rural stretch known for black ice. By the time police arrived, the scene was strangely calm. No blood. No signs of a struggle. The car was locked. Lena was gone. Inside the vehicle, her belongings were neatly arranged, almost deliberate. Her jacket lay folded on the back seat. Her keys rested in the cup holder. Her wallet was still there, cash untouched. It was as if she had stepped out for a moment, just a moment, and vanished into the trees. Search teams flooded the area by morning. Dogs tracked her scent along the road, then lost it abruptly near a bend where the woods grew thick. Volunteers combed ditches and snowbanks. Helicopters traced slow circles overhead. Nothing. No footprints. No trail. Just silence. Then came the theories. Had she accepted a ride? Run from someone? Walked away to start over? Each possibility raised more questions than answers. Her family arrived, hollow-eyed and desperate, clinging to the hope that this was a misunderstanding, that Lena would call any second and laugh it off. But the case shifted when investigators examined her phone records. Her last call ended minutes before the crash. No voicemail. No text afterward. Yet the phone itself wasn't in the car. Hours turned into days. The cold deepened. Leads dried up. And just as the search threatened to stall, a technician uncovered something buried in the digital logs, something no one expected, something that suggested Lena hadn't been alone that night. Because the final data ping didn't place her on the road at all. It placed her somewhere else entirely. The data point didn't make sense at first. Investigators stared at the map, refreshing it again and again, convinced there had to be an error. Lena's phone had stopped transmitting shortly after the crash, but not where the car sat abandoned on the roadside. The final signal came from nearly 2 miles away. Deep in a patch of forest locals avoided, a place with no trails, no houses, and no reason for a college student to be walking alone at night. Search teams returned to the woods, this time with a tighter focus. The snow had begun to melt, revealing muddy ground and snapped branches hidden beneath the white. Within hours, they found something small but unsettling, a scuffed sneaker print that didn't match Lena's shoes. Nearby, a broken phone case lay half buried under leaves, its edges cracked as if crushed underfoot. Her phone was never recovered. As days passed, the investigation widened. Traffic cameras along the highway were reviewed frame by frame. One grainy clip showed a dark vehicle slowing near Lena's car minutes after the crash. Its license plate was unreadable. The driver never came forward. Friends were interviewed next. Lena had been stressed, yes, but she wasn't planning to disappear. She'd registered for classes. Renewed her lease. Bought groceries that same afternoon. Her life showed no signs of an exit plan. Then came the witness who shifted everything. An elderly man living near the woods reported hearing raised voices that night. A woman's voice. Frantic. Cut short by the sound of a car door slamming. He hadn't called it in at the time. He assumed it was kids arguing or nothing at all. Now, his hands shook as he repeated the story. Detectives began to suspect the crash wasn't an accident. The guardrail showed damage inconsistent with the speed Lena claimed she was driving. It looked staged, just enough to force a stop. Pressure mounted. Tips poured in. One name surfaced repeatedly, a local man with a history of stopping to help stranded drivers. He owned a dark sedan. He lived less than 10 minutes from the crash site. But when officers went to question him, his house was empty. No car. No answer. Just a note taped to the door from a neighbor saying he'd left town suddenly, in the middle of the night. By the end of the week, the case had transformed from a disappearance into something far more dangerous. Evidence was slipping away. A key suspect had vanished, and Lena's family was running out of time. Then, during a routine review of archived data, an analyst found something buried even deeper in Lena's phone backup, something recorded accidentally, something never meant to be saved. A fragment of audio. And when they pressed play, the room fell silent. The audio was only 37 seconds long, corrupted and uneven, as if the phone had been jostled while recording. At first, there was nothing but wind, sharp, rushing breaths, the crunch of gravel under hurried footsteps. Then Lena's voice cut through, strained and trembling. "I don't know you," she said. "Please, just let me go." A second voice followed. "Come. Too close." Investigators listened again and again, dissecting every syllable. In the background, an engine idled. A car door opened. Then a sound no one in the room could ignore, the metallic click of a trunk latch. The recording ended there. The man who had disappeared became the center of the case overnight. His phone records placed him near the crash site. Old complaints surfaced. Women who said he'd followed them, offered help they didn't ask for, lingered too long. None had stuck. Until now. A nationwide search began. His face flooded the news. But days passed with no sightings. Then weeks. Just when the trail seemed cold, a hiker in another state found something buried near an abandoned service road. A phone, water-damaged but intact. It was Lena's. The final audio file matched the backup. The location data confirmed what investigators feared. She had been driven far from the crash, far from anyone who could hear her. The suspect was arrested 2 days later, pulled over during a routine traffic stop. Inside his trunk, officers found traces that tied him unmistakably to Lena. Confronted with the evidence, he finally spoke. He said he'd only meant to help, that things got out of hand, that no one would have known if the phone hadn't recorded. Lena's body was never found. The case closed in court, but not in the minds of those who followed it. Her parents still visit the roadside where her car was found, leaving flowers in the snow each year. Investigators still listen to the audio, haunted by the moment it stops, by what comes after. Because the most disturbing part isn't how she vanished. It's that she did everything right. She asked for help. She trusted a stranger. And the only reason anyone knows what happened is because her phone never stopped recording. If this story stayed with you, there are more like it. Cases that don't let go once you hear them. Subscribe and stay close. The next one is even darker.